Yo, what's up? I'm Richard from Outside. We're gonna be exploring the mind of Hebru Brantley. We're right here at Nevermore Park. Let's take a look.
My name is Dani Wieder. So this is Nevermore Park. This is an immersive installation from the imagination of Chicago-based artist Hebru Brantley. Hebru Brantley grew up in Chicago. This installation is actually in his old studio, which is really, really lovely. And Hebru started as a street artist, so he was painting mostly on Chicago exteriors, and he transitioned slowly into more of a gallery space, and he's had many solo exhibitions over time, but this is his first exploration of a more immersive installation. Nevermore Park is a fictional Chicago neighborhood. It is the home of his characters, Flyboy and Lil Mama, who you can see pictured. Because his work revolves around only a few characters, each piece of his art tells you a little bit of new information about them. I think even these portrait paintings, which are very simple, I think communicate a different quality of these characters. If you observe his whole body of work, you can maybe piece together the full personality of each of the characters. So the main story that Hebru is telling is kind of the overall narrative of Flyboy, this superhero character Flyboy, and these children are kind of like the center of that narrative, but there are many, many parts to this story that he's going to be kind of unfolding over time. So Nevermore Park is kind of the first window into where Flyboy and Lil Mama live, and then we're gonna learn more and more about their story over time. It's an interactive experience where you get to kind of walk through their neighborhood and see the world through their eyes and play with everything from the perspective of a child. You can touch everything, you can play with anything, ignite your senses as if you were also a kid. In Nevermore Park, I am really excited by the pieces that directly reference and are inspired by Chicago history. Hebru is very connected to the history of Chicago and is really celebrating Chicago culture in this installation. For example, he is really engaging the history of Pullman Station, which is a train station and a town, and a now abandoned industrial town that is at 113th Street. There are kind of remnants of Pullman Station, things that remind you of Pullman Station in this exhibit, and I think it's this kind of very beautiful way of paying homage to that history and its role in both his life and Chicago culture at large. I think that Hebru's work is drawing very directly from comic books and the whole culture of superheroes. He's definitely trying to contextualize these Chicago children as superheroes by representing them through this kind of comic book style. It's very engaged with that style of storytelling. You'll even see in the installation, the first space you'll walk into is a newsstand that is full of comic books. So he's referencing these things very directly, and print media and comic books has very much inspired his whole artistic practice. And you'll notice that the whole exhibit is very much in a comic book style. Everything is very bright, the colors are really turned up, and it feels like you're kind of walking through a comic book square. The stories of Flyboy and Lil Mama are very, very complex and very deeply thought out, and Hebru has been kind of expanding on these narratives over years and years and years, and Nevermore Park is just his first piece of art that's going to slowly start to communicate their stories to the public.
Yo, it's Richard Vargas from Street Level. We just checked out Nevermore Park, Hebru Brantley shows. Follow us on Instagram, Street Level. Go on mouthsides.org if you want to reach out to us. Man, take a look, man. Don't forget, show love.